Level 618. Boss, a word that could make any Glory player's heart skip a beat. And this was the Heavenly Domain. A boss in the Heavenly Domain? The value wasn't even in the same league as one from the regular zones. And Chenguo knew that Yishu could only level by grinding wild monsters, so without a doubt, this would be a wild boss. In this regard, Heavenly Domain works just like the normal zones. Wild bosses respawn randomly each week. But here's the difference. They only respawn once a week. That means each type of wild boss spawns at most 52 times a year. Naturally, the unique equipment or materials dropped by such a boss would be rare and precious. Naturally, the major guilds kept a tight grip on something so valuable. Every Monday, from the level 55 to level 70 leveling zones, the major guilds would send out scout teams to patrol day and night. They also put out offers to buy boss coordinates directly from players who ran into a boss but couldn't take it down. Every time a boss respawned, it was practically a guarantee that a fierce fight would break out. Lower tier bosses were manageable. Even ordinary players had a shot at claiming them. After all, in Heavenly Domain, aside from Yeshu's Lord Grimm, everyone was a max level player. With that level suppression in play, and most of them being veterans if not experts, teaming up to take down low-level bosses was pretty efficient. As for the high-level bosses, 9 times out of 10 they'd end up in the pockets of the major guilds. For one thing, high-level bosses spawned in high-level zones, and since everyone in Heavenly Domain was level 70, they naturally spent most of their time roaming those areas. The high-level zones were nothing like the desolate level 55 area where Lord Grimm was grinding. Here, a boss was spotted by dozens of players the moment it spawned. There was no chance of killing one in secret. Second, high-level bosses were naturally tougher. No matter who took them on, it was never going to be a quick fight. The slower the kill, the more likely someone will come along to snatch the boss. In a free-for-all like that, the ones who make it to the end are naturally the strongest. So when it came to high-level zone bosses, most players didn't bother entertaining any illusions. But a level 55 boss, that got Chenguo a little excited.
What kind of boss is it?
Chenguo rushed over to Yeshu's computer, asking as she went, her eyes already darting to his screen. But all she saw was half the display. He was clearly hiding behind something. Through the half-screen view, several players were locked in fierce combat around a ferocious boss.
This is the Wild West Bandit? What's it doing here?
Chenguo set aside the question of how Yeshu had gotten that half-angle view and focused on identifying the boss she saw on screen. This rough-hewn man, with his wide felt hat, leather boots, tattered vest, and full beard, was none other than the level 65 wild area boss of the Eastern Wastelands, the Wilderness Outlaw. But this was only the level 55 leveling zone, Chalktown. Its field boss should be the evil Mayor Chalk.
Obviously summoned,
Yishu said. Chenguo understood immediately. With more and more players flooding into Heavenly Domain, the weekly respawn of wild bosses just couldn't satisfy everyone's appetite. Plenty of players had been at it for years without ever seeing one, and the complaints were piling up. So, in a later update, Glory introduced a boss summoning system. After completing certain quests or defeating a boss, there was a chance to obtain an item that could summon a boss. This item could be used at any time, in any location within the Heavenly Domain except for dungeons. As the name suggests, it summons the corresponding boss so everyone can kill it. This item is basically a boss in item form, so don't expect a high drop rate. Also, these items can't be traded, so sometimes players who can't take down a boss themselves will find a big guild, summon it for them, and let the guild do the killing. It's basically selling a boss to the guild, just indirectly. But selling it like that pays way more than just selling the coordinates. With this item you could find a secluded spot, hole up, and kill the boss on the sly. The situation before them was clearly a case of hiding away to sneak kill the boss. A level 55 leveling zone, undoubtedly one of the more desolate corners of the Heavenly Domain. And this spot, tucked away in a corner of Chucktown, you'd never find it unless you ventured deep into the town's heart. It was just a coincidence. Yi Shu happened to pick the same town, Chalk, to hide and level up. After all that circling around, Yi Shu ended up running right into them. The Desperado boss specializes in the Gunslinger class, but as for which specific subclass, well, with a boss you really shouldn't get too hung up on the details. Get hung up and you'll definitely pay for it. Just when you think you're up against a sharpshooter, they might hit you with a Spitfire skill instead.
What are you doing? Trying to snatch it?
It was only then that Chen Guo noticed how odd Ye Shu's setup was. He was only showing half of one side of the screen, which meant he was either tucked behind a corner or hiding behind a window in some room.
That would be so uncivilized. I'm going to scavenge.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
Chen Guo nearly fainted at the word scavenging. It was a term unique to the heavenly domain, where the drop rate upon player death was exceptionally high. So whenever a large-scale conflict broke out, a certain type of player would always appear, wearing the cheapest, shabbiest gear imaginable, yet charging into the battlefield with the most fearless spirit. But don't get the wrong idea. These guys are no fearless Suicide Squad. Their real target is the gear scattered across the battlefield after a death. This behavior is called scavenging, and the players who do it are known as scavengers. Scavengers are looked down on, sure, but when a scene like this unfolds right in front of you, no player ever turns down the chance to play one for a bit. And killing a boss? That's prime scavenging territory. Facing a boss, death is always a possibility. But who is Yi Shu? A top-tier pro player, reduced to lurking in corners waiting for scraps. No wonder Chen Guo calls him hopeless.